Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Within the 1890s, after the closure of mines and economic turmoil, a series of tragedies enshrouds the rural town. A schoolteacher addicted to cocaine gains a reputation for the frequent smashing of public windows. Two brothers murder a man and live on his land like outlaws, until the older brother goes on the run from the sheriff and his men. A woman, believing that she and her family is pursued by devils, drowns her children. A place once populated by hopeful European settlers seeking cheap land and future opportunities gradually becomes the setting of unrequited love, youth criminality, psychological despair, diphtheria outbreaks amongst children, religious persecution, and tragic examples of death. This is James Marsh's adaptation of Michael Lesy's photographic book of the same name, Wisconsin Death Trip, a docudrama utilising a mixture of historic photographs published within Black River Falls' local newspaper during the 1890s, black and white reenactments of the town's most devastating crimes and events, documentary footage of Black River Falls during more modern times, and a haunting voiceover provided by Ian Holm, who recites the news stories and headlines from local newspapers during this period, which adds a layer of authenticity to the film. Ian Holm providing a vocal performance that is simultaneously sardonic, judgmental, empathetic, sly, and droll, with music from DJ Shadow and John Cale. Marsh's film often feels reminiscent of David Lynch's work due to its ghostly aesthetic and its approach to unravelling the darker underbelly of rural Americana through the seasons, crafting a Gothic image of the otherwise stereotypically idyllic concept of a traditional American small town. David Lynch's influence is seemingly present within Wisconsin Death Trip during some of the film's most evocative images of citizens dragged away into the shadows of the Mendota Asylum for the Insane, as if imprisoned within the inescapable bowels of dense shadow. These images alone are dreadfully upsetting, demonstrating the lack of empathy and knowledge surrounding mental health decline common within the time period, one of Black River Falls' dark secrets to be hidden away underneath its veneer of acceptable rural living. With the mixture of scandal, unrequited young love, violence and murder present within Black River Falls at the time, hidden underneath a traditionalist veneer of faith, it's hard not to speculate whether this town could serve as a spiritual influence over Lynch's and Frost's own Twin Peaks. Wisconsin Death Trip feels like a cinematic collage, utilising real photographs taken by the town's photographer in the 1890s, Charles Van Schaik. The dramatic black and white reenactments are dialogue-free and function as if extensions of Charles's photography. Brought to motion, Ian Holmes' voiceover provides an additional dramatic depth, despite the recitations not being sourced from a screenplay, but from the Black River Falls' newspaper publication instead. The impressionist layered assemblage provides us a bleak snapshot of a period in which many viewers may find comfort in the fact that they are privileged enough not to live within and endure these times. However, Marsh's Wisconsin Death Trip steers further away from its photographic source material to challenge this comforting notion when coloured documentary footage of Black River Falls in the mid-90s, the present day at the time of filming, a century later, reflects how times haven't quite changed. While children can play freely without the fear of diphtheria outbreaks and death, the same pressures of young love, aging, religious judgment, persecution and violence persevere. Specific references are made to Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed Gein via overheard conversations and overlapping voiceovers to create a disorienting effect, both serial killers having resided within Wisconsin. Even specific recollections are given by police officers, such as the discovery of a severed head, which demonstrates that heightened violence will seemingly always remain a problem. Through these modern documentary sequences, sometimes presented as a dizzying sensory experience, Marsh's film suggests that small-town America hasn't quite moved forward, its concerns, stresses, fears and anxieties remaining much the same, and that viewers should not find comfort from the horrors of history via the passage of time. In conclusion, James Marsh's Wisconsin Death Trip takes a glimpse into the idea of the traditional rural America to reveal the human despair underneath the veneer of nostalgic romanticism, bleak, gothic, and with a sense of unflinching truth presented with an ethereal quality via a docudrama collage that is equally empathetic yet droll. Wisconsin Death Trip reminds us of the privileges of being born within our present day, yet also how time doesn't necessarily bring change. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil, and my super tier Patreon supporters Constantine Bombelli and at Layla Lou 1.